All right, we are live. Pastor Johnson here at Trinity Manila, and good morning to everybody. Very special morning. We have Jeanette Clausen, and she is a part of an organization called Crossroads of Crawford County, and it's really special. The other day, we were talking to some people in Florida who do something very similar, but now it's nice to go a little more local and thinking about some resources that are nearby. So, Jeanette, could you talk to us a little bit about what your organization does?
The simplified version of what Crossroads is Christian community outreach.
Sure.
But as soon as I say that, people say, "What's that mean?" So we developed around being a resource and referral assistance for people, meaning helping them find the places that they need to go with whichever's going on in their family.
Sure.
So it ranged from substance abuse to pregnancy to parenting issues to aging issues, whatever. And now we have two specialized areas. One of those is Pregnancy Resource Center. We've become a Pregnancy and Parenting Resource Center.
Sure.
And we also have a full program that is just kind of hot off the press called Co-Cares.
Okay.
And that is helping the elderly, just creative helping in their homes, and it's non-medical helping.
Okay.
So just getting in there to build a relationship with them.
Sure. How did this all come about?
I always was going to make some notes as it was developing to be able to replay that accurately. Definitely was a God thing. I think it was a combination of circumstances. I had been working for several different agencies for, I don't know, 30 years at the time.
Right.
And one of the things that I just always was exposed to a lot of people. And I just found that talking with them, they always had questions. They always had this need. They always had, jeepers, we got this going on and we don't know what to do. And I might have been like, hey, I talked to somebody else that had that. Let me see once what they did. Or I just recently worked with this or that place. Let me see if I can get you a contact. So I had been doing it all along, and then haven't always been in the same community. It helped me kind of develop, connections with exactly what was going on in that community. So I think that's maybe where the seeds of it were. And then I was working for a statewide adoption agency, and again, going all over the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
And I just ran into some personal situations with my family that I realized I'm not getting any younger. And I can't be on the eastern side of Iowa when I need family. I need to be there for family.
Sure.
And nothing horrible and awful, but it just was the kind of thing where I couldn't plan and then work accordingly. It was usually things came down the pike and I had to move quickly. So it was just a change that was needed, and then God throwing people literally almost in my path that kind of just affirmed the whole thought. So yeah.
So Jeanette, absolutely. So your organization is working out of Denison, is that right?
Correct. We I live in Schleswig, which is just north of Denison.
Sure.
But we really wanted to be located in Denison because we know that's pretty much the hub of Crawford County. So
Sure. So if I was looking for your building, where would I find it?
Okay, we're on the east end of Denison. Some people find it incredibly easy, and other people find it incredibly hard. I think they're overworking it. We're on the way east end of Denison. We are still in city limits, but if you turn up by the highway patrol station, that's Yellow Smoke Road, and then you take the first turn off to the left. That is Timberline Drive, and we are on the east end of the USDA building.
Okay.
So 3707 Timberline.
So one of the areas and one of the most specific areas that you focus on is helping people who may be in need, who might be in a crisis pregnancy situation. So what are some of the services that you provide in a situation like that?
We want to start with them exactly where they're at. Quite often that is still in shock, Somebody in their family or their partner, whatever, might have suggested, hey, let's go talk.
Mhm.
So we just want to help, them talk through what happened, how did we get here,
Mhm.
what's going on in your relationship, what's going on in your life. Just being very open, very non-judgmental with them on okay, just tell me, let's talk on how this happened. And we definitely want to, most of the time they understand their options. Once in a while they do not feel like one or two of the options are actually options.
Sure.
um, we try to encourage them, let's still talk through all the options so that I can understand where you're at, and that we can, put a little time into each of them so that you make a solid decision rather than somebody else making it for you.
Sure.
uh, to a lot of people, that maybe sounds like we are going there on abortion with them.
Mm.
Absolutely, we do.
Mm.
Because if they don't understand what abortion is,
Mm.
then they're less likely to rule it out for the wrong reasons, right reasons,
Mm.
So absolutely, we want them to understand all the things about abortion too. Sometimes they're further along in their pregnancy. They might be well past 20 weeks and are just now kind of like the reality's coming on for them, going, and they're in panic mode, and
Right.
they need to, gather their actions. And um, we will carry on with them. If they're going to be parents, we want to continue with them
Sure.
and help them, support them through that, because we know that that's a challenge for A+ parents even. So
So for parents with small children, what resources do you guys provide?
right now we try to, mentoring is probably the biggest thing.
Mhm.
I like, and maybe this is more of a personal preference for me, but usually we have parenting courses online for them that they can
Sure.
take. Those can be really practical and could load them up with some really good ideas and give them kind of a baseline to operate from. But when they're stuck in the day-to-day stuff, when they're, ready to scream at their kids, or rather, where they just absolutely cannot get that bedtime routine developed or something like that, hands-on support is best. And so we try to hook them up with a mentor that is able and willing to do that and just really hear them out. And I think my feedback is that that's usually what's the most helpful. So
Sure. Sure. And if I remember correctly in our conversations in the past, you guys have like a thrift store or resources for families, or how's that work?
right now we don't have a thrift store. Our
Okay.
dream is to have a thrift store
Okay.
of
Yeah.
children's items. We would really, yeah, we've got it all planned in our heads. We have a place in Denison that is keeping used items for us, gently used items. And so the parents that we're working with, the ones that we're engaged in a relationship with, we will take them over there and see what we can find for their age and stage that they have going on.
Sure.
And then we also have, at our office location, we have new items.
Sure.
And those are items that the gals and guys can buy with points, and that's points that they get for coming to us, for going to doctor, for anything healthy, getting good resources about their child, going to anything to take care of themselves. Um, so they get points, and then they work just like dollars, and they can buy the items that their kids need. And it's also a gift shop. So we have
Sure.
the items priced with the dollar amount that, if you came in and bought it for a gift,
Sure.
that's also available that way. So we got a pretty good stock there.
That sounds really cool. Um, and then the other side of the spectrum is you've been branching out to help older adults too. What do those resources look like?
Well, we've been developing, we're in the beginning of our 6th year now. And as we just kind of wanted to feel out all these different areas and see once what the needs were. Elderly, was probably a screaming need right away. And that was for resources, and it was for hands-on help getting them through maybe an application or getting them to a doctor or getting them to the right doctor, or just following up with them and keeping them moving. So we had volunteers helping us with that, and volunteers are awesome. The one thing we've noticed though is because they're volunteers, they're in a different place in their lives, and so they could help this time, but the
Yeah.
consistency of it was really lacking.
Mhm.
And I think COVID just kind of helped us. Actually, it was the kind of the glue to put it together and say, now we see that these people who were lonely already are really lonely and isolated. And so it's just a way, it's kind of a backdoor way of getting hands on help to them, but our real goal is befriending them.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. So, and I'm sure you guys have been seeing it. Just simple conversations and presence and showing up just goes a tremendous way.
Oh my goodness, during COVID, sometimes companies would donate food, whatever,
Sure.
and locally, we help to distribute that either through volunteer fire departments, whatever. And the look on people's faces when you just randomly came to the door, they were in tears. And I don't think it had so much to do with finances. Maybe for some of them it did. But for more of them, it was a real face,
Yeah,
somebody that came for me. Yeah,
yeah,
it broke my heart.
yeah,
And I just was like, oh.
yeah,
And so I think it just kind of helped develop the whole thing, put
yeah.
the speed behind it at least.
I'm pretty convinced there's going to be lots of college dissertations or doctorate dissertations about um, the idea of presence and isolation here in the next decade.
Yeah, I hope so, because right now, we can't find those facts because they won't let them be out there.
Sure,
We're all living with examples of what that has done. Yeah, it's excruciating.
absolutely. So, Jeanette, as people watch, obviously, if it were up to you and you had unlimited resources, it would be a program that expands over lots of counties. But obviously, because of resources, got to focus on an area. And so, right now, you guys focus primarily or exclusively on Crawford County. But how can people get involved to help you guys?
Oh, I always love that question. And I actually kind of need to get to know the person a little bit, to be
Sure,
able to pitch that out to them. Sometimes they're helpers, sometimes they are donor type,
sure,
sometimes they are the praying type,
sure.
sometimes they just like to be informed to kind of, they'll jump in when they see something. And so I need to polish up on communicating with all of those.
Yeah,
And we can use all of those. We all wear different hats at the office. It's getting better because we've been able to do some hires as we have grown. Sometimes I feel more like a Mickey Mouse operation just because we're just limited staff, and hopefully people don't feel that way. We will do our best, but there are just times that it kind of doubles up and it can be a little crazy. So we need professional staff, but right now our budget doesn't allow for that, so we need helpers. I just had I think she's going to be an excellent volunteer. She says I can do whatever. I'm just a fill in the cracks kind of person, and I'm like, okay. Until you meet them, you don't know she truly is. She can actually do about anything. And so I'm like, okay, now we got to figure out where your little sliver of time fits.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And one of the things that came to my mind is we've got lots of Thrivent members out there who might be watching, who have action teams, and so maybe there would be an opportunity to purchase diapers or whatever that could then be. Would that be something that'd be helpful to you guys to dispense? Or
Thank you for bringing that up.
yeah,
Thrivent Action Teams has been one of our biggest donors,
sure,
as a whole. That $250 can go so far, and we have used it over and over and over every year. So
sure,
yes, they can buy diapers. They can buy. We just had when you do that for baby items,
sure.
and we bought $250 worth of items to go into the little sparrow's nest area there that we call the store. Um, Another way that Thrivent members can help is doing the
Choice
no.
laws?
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you. Yes, they can designate their choice dollars to Crossroads. That is a huge help. That's been, yeah, the combination of those two things has made Thrivent one of our biggest donors.
Sure
Absolutely.
thing.
So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got a great idea going on there.
absolutely, absolutely. So maybe the last question I got for you, Jeanette, as you guys move forward and pretending money is no object, what are some hopes that you have long term?
Our long-term goals, I think, are just to solidify what we have. You know, these two new programs are pretty hot off the press. We need to get them a little ironed out yet. So getting them nice and formed is probably the key thing. And then long term, I guess we're going to delegate a couple board members to making sure that we're on our mission, that we're not getting distracted from that we can focus on that. So I would say my long-term goal is just being able to serve other communities outlying. Anybody that can travel to us right now is more than welcome. We don't care where they're from, but we can't travel everywhere. So yeah, one day I hope that we can serve all of our neighboring counties as well, with those services, and maybe have a presence in those counties.
Sure.
So that would be way out there, I guess.
Very cool. Really quick, we've got some people who are going to say good morning. We've got Jeanette saying good morning. When I say Jeanette, I mean Janet. Goodness gracious. We've got Jeanette on the mind. Hi, Janet. Uh, Betty says prayer hands. And I believe Annette and Paige are watching. Sherry, good morning. And finally, Shirley, good morning too. So thank you, everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Jeanette, we really appreciate your time this morning and sharing your organization, Crossroads of Crawford County. And people can find you at your website and reach out that way. And we just really appreciate your time this morning. So
Thank you very much. And come on out, come visit us anytime. Hopefully you'll catch. I'm not always there, but if you give us a call ahead, we will make sure that we can be there. So
very good.
awesome.
Any members watching right now? We'll have our makeup book club meeting tonight, and then our next one will be the 22nd. Which, if you haven't grabbed the book yet, you can still rush through it. And if not, then plan on maybe the third book on Pontius Pilate. But that all said, thank you, everybody. And thank you, Jeanette. And everybody have a good day.
Thank you so much.